Japan's reliance on nuclear power may change in the wake of the earthquake and tsunami. That is, if protesters have anything to do about it. A vocal protest movement that started online in Japan has now moved to the streets. Our Tokyo contributor Rebecca Milner tells us more.
So it's been more than 3 months since the earthquake and tsunami hit eastern Japan. However, tensions still remain high over the Fukushima nuclear power plant and the future of nuclear power in general in Japan. Anti-nuclear demonstrations continue to take place around the country. Most recently, on June 11th, organizers called for a global day of action which resulted in several protests around the country, the largest of which took place in downtown Tokyo. Now, demonstrations in general in Japan are quite rare. In the decades since Japan began rolling out its nuclear power program, small-scale protests have erupted occasionally. But since Fukushima, everything's changed. Through Twitter and social networking sites like Mixi, thousands of web users have joined new online communities with names such as Oppose Nuclear Power, Natural Energy, and TEPCO is to Blame, which have become active clearinghouses for information, opinion, and video sharing. News websites that allow for commenting have been racking up comments in the thousands for stories chronicling the latest statement from TEPCO and government officials. Like this recent story, for example, that had bloggers up in arms. As reported on Yahoo News last week, Diet member and Secretary General for the Liberal Democratic Party, Ishihara Nobutaru, said in regards to the anti-nuclear movement, "Considering the extent of the situation, I can understand the mass hysteria." Ishihara may be regretting his choice of words. Writes one Yahoo News reader, "His true voice comes through. This is why I can't support his party." Now, 22,000 readers agreed with that post, while some 12,000 disagreed. Another writes, referencing a controversial foreign anti-whaling campaign, "It's just like he says, the anti-nuclear activists are as bad as the Sea Shepherd." 17,000 readers agreed with that statement, while close to 27,000 disagreed. Meanwhile, bloggers took to their keyboards to vent frustration at a political class seen as being largely out of touch with the public sentiment. One blogger, who goes by the name Zara, writes, "Hasn't the Liberal Democratic Party been deceiving us for years about the safety of nuclear power? What's going on isn't mass hysteria. It's an awakening from a mass hypnotism, from the myth of safety." From another, who goes by the name Rika, "On the news this morning, I learned that a dairy farmer, despairing over his business in the wake of the nuclear disaster, committed suicide. He left a note to his fellow farmers that says, 'Please keep fighting and don't succumb to the disaster.' Is that what you call mass hysteria?" An opinion poll taken last weekend by the liberal newspaper, the Asahi Shimbun, found out that nearly 75% would favor a gradual phase-out of Japan's nuclear power program. In Tokyo, this is Rebecca Milner for LinkAsia.
Link TV is the only U.S. network dedicated to global and national news, uncompromising documentaries, and diverse cultural programs. Programs which connect you to the world. To learn more, visit linktv.org.